Hello, my loves. Welcome to the Ayurvedic Therapist Podcast. This is Paris, your host, and today I am going to talk about your inner child. And I think this is really important to talk about the inner child because recently I have come to see that in my practice, how many times and how many of us can really only function from the place of our inner child in areas of our life that really needs our wisdom and consciousness. And so this is more important than ever, in my opinion, because of everything that is going on in our world. The world's kind of spinning and there's a lot of dark stuff going on around us. And really, it is up to us to pause and decide, am I going to go with this spinning energy and come out of myself and out of my alignment and start watching the news and listening to all the stuff that's going on or watching the images that are coming out from different corners of the world and being pulled out of my alignment? Or am I going to put in the effort to truly understand what's happening inside of me so that I can be well? And I cannot emphasize enough how important this is. I recently had a client who was really upset when she came to me because of the political, turmoil that is happening in the world, and especially in the US election and all of that. And she was thinking that, this is so horrible to watch us go back. It's like we're going back in history and we're going back on all the improvement and achievements that we have made throughout history, especially as women and women's rights and everything that our mothers and our grandmothers and great grandmothers have worked for and fought for. It feels like it is kind of being questioned and challenged and threatened. And so it's a very good thing to be concerned about that because it's a very real thing. However, if we go into the energy of being concerned and start spinning about it and come out of our alignment, it's like we actually do what these forces want us to do, which is not be ourselves, which is be upset, be lost, feel ungrounded, and have our nervous system not be in a stable and clear place. And so we leave, in a way, our window of tolerance and we go into fight or flight, or we freeze, or we start fawning. So why am I telling you all this? It's because of the importance of this work right now. So regardless of political views or what you think of all the craziness in the world, my understanding is, and this is just my understanding of the world and the messages that I am receiving from channeling with the spiritual world, is that this is all a show. And any more we get involved in the turmoil of it and the spinning of it, the more these, forces that are in power, they will win. Call them the 1% or political parties or whatever they are. So, more than ever, if you would like to see humanity evolve to the next level, I think we can reach there, in my humble opinion, by working on ourselves. I really do believe that peace starts with you, and you can only create peace if you really, really get to know yourself on really deep levels. Let's be honest, you cannot be at peace if every information outside of you is extracting extracting your prana, your life force. The news, that horrible person, this horrible situation. And so if you're paying attention and your awareness is going there, how could you be at peace? You can't. You cannot be in those two places. They're kind of opposite of one another. I also should mention that I do not mean to use spirituality as a tool to bypass. What does that mean? It means that we're not closing our eyes and saying, and closing our ears and saying nothing's happening, there's no genocide, and there's women's rights are totally fine, and the world's totally fine, and butterflies are singing, and I'm just going to ignore everything and not have compassion for it. That is not what we're saying here. In fact, when you really align with who you truly are, you are going to have so much compassion, so much loving kindness for the world. And as I say this, I kind of want to cry because my heart is so open and so hurting for every child and every woman. And trust me, I know how it is. I know how it is to be in the Middle East and to be in the war zone and lose everything you have. That is where I come from. So let me tell you, you people out there who want to help the situation, you cannot help the situation by losing your alignment. Stay aligned. Stay true to your prana. Stay true to your life force. And in these times that it's very, very easy to be pulled to every direction, I am here to remind you of ways that you can stay aligned. And by staying aligned and by opening your heart and not closing it, so open your heart, send love, feel the pain. When you look at the images, allow yourself some time. Put some time aside, maybe once a week, just for half an hour. Do a meditation for world peace. Maybe meditate on a child's image and open your heart and send them all the love that you could possibly feel, because it makes a very huge difference when you feel on that level and when you function from that level of being energetically so open. But then put it away and focus on yourself. Focus on yourself and realigning your energy centers, realigning your body, mind, and spirit. That is how you're going to change the world. That's actually the only way you're going to change the world. And again, in my humble opinion and the messages that I'm receiving from the divine, this is not a time to fight. This is a time to unite. We're not here to fight about the color of our skin or our gender or fighting about political parties. That stuff is so small in comparison to who you are and the role that you're here to play. Your spirit is so incredible and such a warrior to have chosen to be here at this time. This is a very special time. According to the yogis and Ayurveda experts, this is the time that is called the Kali, or the time of yoga, which is not the yoga that we know. This is the time that is the bottom of all times. So there's the time of enlightenment, and there are all these levels of eras, and we are at the bottom of the bottom. So we're at a place where our consciousness has to start changing. And many of us are already experiencing this. Many of us have already shifted our consciousness. Things are changing for our bodies. Things are changing for the level of our mental activity, and things are changing spiritually. And so that is, I truly believe, how the new world is going to be created and born. So If you like to learn more about how to bring yourself into alignment, I really highly recommend knowing this basic concept of your inner child. Because most likely, your inner child is the one that is going to kind of throw a tantrum when things are not balanced and things are not it's like the rug is being pulled from under our feet. Finances are not in a good place in the entire world. People's incomes are not matching the expenses that they have. Food prices are going up. It's kind of a crisis. So if you look at the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the triangle of hierarchy of needs, you'll see that the bottom part of the triangle is all about your safety. It's all about your physiological safety, your finances, your home, how safe your body feels. And so when in times like this, that is going to be the foundation of who you are. So if you don't have a nice home to live in and food is not very easily with ease provided and children are not taken care of and happy and wife and husband, their relationship is not flowing, your inner child is going to be upset. And so when your inner child gets upset, it's going to throw tantrums and act up. So this is why I want to talk about that concept. So let's just start with understanding the 4 different voices within you. And this is a part of the very deep work that I do with the beautiful souls that go through my program that is 12 to 16 weeks long and sometimes longer, but minimum of 12 weeks. And we really, really practice to master which voice is inside of us and how to listen to it and what to do with it. But as a general rule, there are 4 voices within us. The first voice is the voice of our mind or the voice of manas. This is the one that is very active and very in the front of any situation for many people. This is the chatter in your head. It's the one that wants to analyze and plan and worry. And it's the voice that keeps you up at night, replaying conversations time after time or planning the next year's tasks. Yeah, or the next day's tasks. And so the voice of the mind or manas in Ayurveda, manas is, or the mind is just a tool. It's an organ. And it's very important that we don't listen to the voice of the mind. The mind is a beautiful organ. It's a beautiful tool and we can use it. We can have a beautiful mind that help us grow and learn and analyze the right things. Or we can have a mind that takes us and drags us along. So it's up to us to listen to that voice. The second voice is the voice of our ego or the voice of our ahankara. This voice is mainly concerned with identity. Ahankara in general is not a bad thing. You need your ahankara to be your own self. Your ahankara is given to you the moment of conception, the moment of birth, because without your ahankara, you cannot be in this physical world. So you do need your ahankara, and it's a good thing to have. The problem is some people live their lives with their ahankara in the driver's seat when the ahankara should really be in the passenger seat, and you should be in the driver's seat. So the voice of the ahankara is around identity and around self-importance. It often seeks validation and recognition and drives our behavior that is aimed at maintaining a certain image or status. So it's like, I am this and I am that, and screw that person. When the ahankara speaks, it definitely, it's like the person's voice changes. The person's body language changes. The third voice is the voice of our inner child. And that's the voice I want to talk to you about. This voice seeks safety and validation. It carries the wounds and unmet needs from childhood. And yes, we all have them. And often influencing our emotional responses and behaviors. And so when not acknowledged, it can manifest as people pleasing or difficulty saying no or fear of speaking up or getting too angry and frustrated and throwing a tantrum, and in any case, coming out of the window of tolerance, out of the place where there is a felt sense of support and safety, and the person feels like their needs are met. Anytime the person feels like the needs are not met, this child will come forward. And this child is often coming from the first 7 years of your life, sometimes even before that, sometimes even when we're in the womb, the imprints of what has happened and how our mothers felt and the ancestral ways of, the traumas that our ancestors carried will begin to leave an imprint on us, even from the time we're in the womb. So this is the voice of the inner child, and I will go more in depth in this. The fourth voice is the voice of our spirit. And the voice of our spirit, or our Atman, this voice is the voice of our wisdom, the voice of our consciousness, our conscious awareness, the voice of our essence, who we truly are, who we've come to be in this world and in this body. And it's the part of us that has lived in different bodies from the past, and the part of us that is the only thing that we're going to take with us when we leave this body. Yeah. So this spirit is often sitting in the background and watching the other parts. And so when it sits in the background and watches the other parts, sometimes it offers a perspective that is rooted in the higher understanding and compassion of the self. But it never interferes with your free will. So you have free will because you have come to live in this human body that is a combination of earth material. So you literally have material that comes from the earth. You have zinc and oxygen and all sorts of things. Your bones have the same minerals as the earth. And you carry the spirit of Pachamama, or Mother Earth. And at the time of conception, or a few days after it, your spirit from the sky, or the heavenly spirit, or the universal spirit, has come and merged with the spirit of Mother Earth, to create you, your unique you. And this is where you were given your ahankara. And so you have free will to say, I'm going to do this, not that. It's important to understand when we come to this world, we do have the voice of our spirit very clear, because that's who we are. The child comes to the world and holds back on nothing. Have you ever seen a child who's like, oh, maybe I will, sit here and not cry because I'm going to disturb others, or it's not like that. The child wants one thing. The child's here. There's a straight line between what the child wants and that thing, until us adults, and society and all the ways that we are starts killing that. The child's always showing up from their spirit self. And so when later on they can't belong to a group because, we're tribal beings, and it feels like survival to belong to a group, and we can't do that. And the child thinks there must be something wrong with me. If I'm myself, I can't belong, or people don't like me, or I can't do this or I can't do that. So the child starts taking on different roles and different ways of being and putting on different masks to belong, to suffer less. And so let's understand that this is a completely natural thing and it's a completely okay thing for a child. It actually helped the child survive. But now that we are adults, we no longer need to do this. But you look around you, how many people are acting up from their 6-year-old self, from their 4-year-old self? Many. I have seen many. And so as we get to know our inner child and the voice of our inner child, we can understand which parts of this inner child do we need to celebrate and bring forward, because the inner child is also very beautiful. It's connected to the spirit. It knows joy and happiness and connection like no other. But it has forgotten how to show up as that because there are all these unmet needs and all these masks that she has had or he has had to wear in just order to survive. So it's time to put the masks down. Do you agree with me? It's time to put the masks down. It's time to show up from the place of your spirit. I cannot say this enough. 10 years ago, this could sound like a poem. Today, our world is falling apart. And if you do not take the mask down, and if you do not stay true to who you truly are, and if you don't find your dharma and your connection to your atman and some form of a spirituality, you are going to go crazy. And I see it every day in my practice, and I see it every day all around the world. So if it's time for you to, you're like, oh, I want to put this time to get to know myself, but I don't have time. I'm going to tell you, from mother to mother, from woman to woman, from woman to maybe from sister to brother, that you do have time. You make your choices. You can make a choice to read a book or watch Netflix. You can also make a choice to spend money on yourself and getting to know yourself and doing a program or analyzing your mind or going on a retreat. And you can also spend that money later on medicine and, healthcare that we call ill care. So it is completely up to you. You can buy the good foods now, the organic foods now, and really try to focus on what you're feeding yourself and your family. Or you can later spend that money on things that will not be really nice, like sickness. So I want you to really be honest with yourself. What in your life are you prioritizing? What in your life can you just let go of so that you have more time and space and energy to go to that yoga class, to go for a walk, to be with nature, to do a program that helps you elevate yourself, to learn something new about yourself? What can you let go of to create space? There is so much you can let go of. I remember my teacher 10 years ago, she was teaching us about this. Life is a series of making choices. If your car is costing you an arm and a leg, and your bills are costing you this and that, where can you create a change so that life flows a little more easily? Not just financially, but with your energy and with your time. Doing the things that are important. Bringing back that joy. When was the last time that you were dancing and you were feeling the joy in your body? When was the last time that, if you have small children, you were painting with them? there is an indigenous saying that every time you would go to the medicine man, they would say, and you would say, I'm depressed or I'm sad or my mood is not good. They would say, when was the last time you danced? When was the last time you saw the pure joy of seeing the sunset or the trees moving in the wind? When was the last time you spent time in nature? Because it is true. These are the things that we need because we come from nature. It's not, oh, it's really nice, going to the park or sitting with a tree. No, it's essential. And so the inner child already knows this. Your inner child already knew this. So what I want you to do is see in which areas of your life you are, or you have been telling this inner child to shut up and you haven't been feeding it its needs. So if you have small children and they go, mommy, 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 look at me, mommy, I'm dancing. Look at me, mommy, I'm painting. Imagine for 20, 30, 40 years, this child telling you, mommy, look at me, and you're not looking at it and you're pushing it away. That is what we do to our inner children, to our inner child. We would never do it to our children, but we do it to ourselves. So when we turn our beautiful conscious awareness into our inner self and we look at this inner child, what do we find? Maybe we remember the joy of grandma's hug and the dad's proud smiles. Maybe we remember the happiness of being invited to a friend's birthday party. Maybe the cheers when mommy laughed or said goodbye, the pain of being ignored or bullied on the first day of school, the pride of starting our first job and providing our capabilities, the desire to belong as a teenager and a quest for love and social connections. Maybe we'll remember the warmth of understanding during good times with others and the hurt of betrayal when we are let down. But we need to look at these and understand these in order to know why we do certain things today and where we're coming from, which voice is speaking. And things like, things like people pleasing, which is very, very common amongst women, especially because we have been taught to do that, not because we're born people pleasers, is a defense mechanism because we had to be nice and we had to give parts of ourselves and prioritize everybody else's needs before our own. In fact, if we prioritize our own needs, it would be looked at, frowned at, as selfish. So that's why women go on being such people pleasers. We can go a step further than that and start fawning. And fawning is when we adapt ourselves to avoid conflict and gain approval. And we often do this at the expense of our true feelings. So it's like, no, if I can just do a little bit more or give more of myself to this person, then I'm going to be safe. If you find yourself constantly in situations where you're repeating the same mistakes or you're attracting the people around you that are not good for you, you are probably somewhere acting from this self-destructive behavior, or on an energetic level, you might be acting from this. You might be sending out the energy of, I'll do anything. And then, vampires just come around you. And by vampires, I mean those who, want to take and take and take. So, other things that we can do if our inner child is not taken care of or is still lacking something and not being fed the right things is maybe you're overeating. A part of the child still needing to eat and never be satisfied. Maybe you are over shopping. Maybe you're overspending money, whatever it may be. Maybe it's substance use, just drinking too much or whatever else. Or maybe it's you're choosing toxic relationships and the people that come around you. Any of these have roots in that inner child not being seen, not being heard, not being taken care of, and not being loved properly by you. On the positive side, if you do learn how to take care of your inner child is the seat of your greatest creativity and natural intuition. So by tending to your inner child, you unlock these powerful capabilities. I've had people in my program where, after 3-4 weeks of movement, freestyle movement, sometimes dancing, I'm like, go and dance, go practice this movement, go be in nature and follow these, meditative states of being. And they come back to me after 3, 4, 5 weeks and they're like, everything has changed. Everything. I have gotten a raise in my job. My relationship is better. I have my old friends coming back into my life. I'm traveling more. And the reason for that is on an energetic level, when you awaken that beautiful inner child, it's like the universe talks back to you in that beautiful energetic way. And your creative center opens up. And the sky is the limit because now you can do better. You can be more creative. You can be more joyful and happy. And those are the things that come back to you. So it's really important to remember that connecting with your inner child requires you to come back to your body. I see so many people these days going through life with their mind. What do I mean by that? You are just constantly going somewhere. And when you're not going somewhere, you are distracting yourself by looking at a screen or watching reels or not being with your family and being present. And so people live in their mind so much so that they don't even know. They forget that they're hungry, or they don't even know the taste of the food they're eating, or they don't know what needs their body has. But let me tell you, you can live in your mind, but the body is on its own vibrational level and it's never going to forget. You know the book, The Body Keeps the Score, by Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, who is my beautiful teacher. And so that's a really awesome book to read, to understand that your body is never going to forget anything. So if you have childhood memories and traumas and needs that weren't met, it is stored somewhere in your body and your body knows. And so your mind might have moved on, but your body has not. And these are the primal wounds and traumas. It can be as simple as, you were hurt and your mom said, oh, come on, big girls don't cry. That can be a trauma for the inner child. And so these get stored in our bodies in layers and layers over time. And this is what becomes illness later on in life. So number one, you need to come back to your physical self. You need to reconnect your head with your body. Open the highway between the head and the body by coming into some sort of mindfulness to the body. You can do that right now. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and notice your body. Send your breath down towards your arms, your legs, your hips. What's happening inside your body? What vibrations are there? What sensations are there? As simple as that, you bring your attention and your awareness to your body and you open the highway between your mind and your body. Do a body scan. Your inner child involves scanning your body for areas of tension or discomfort. If your lower back hurts, if your hips hurt, if your neck hurts, These all have stories to tell. And so sitting with these sensations to unlock images and memories that may be stored in these areas is super, super important. But also, I will mention that you do need a guide for that. So you don't want to open a can of worms and not know what to do with it. So what do we do from here on? If you're listening to this podcast, what I would like to offer to you is cultivating a relationship with your inner child. It can be as simple as you close your eyes, take a breath, and notice who is speaking. Or before you speak, notice what is inside of you, what voice is inside of you. And have the intention to collaborate and create a relationship between your adult self and your inner child. So you can do that by getting in touch. So step number 1, get in touch. Begin a conversation with your inner child. Start remembering, parts of yourself that maybe you've forgotten, and develop a relationship by listening to its needs, pains, hopes, and dreams. And then step number 2, listen and act. Learn about your inner child's needs and take steps to address them. This may involve engaging in activities that bring you joy. Maybe you dance, maybe you paint, whatever brings you joy. Processing painful memories, or developing healthy relationships that provide safety and stability. Remember, the child's first and foremost need is to be safe. So how can you feel safe? How can you feel safe even in your own home? Maybe it's, having a blanket that you can resource. You sit on the couch and you have really cushioning pillows. Maybe you put your arms around your children, or you reach for your pets and you snuggle with them, or whatever that may look like, bringing safety into your life so that the inner child can feel safe and start coming into the forefront of its being. I know that for myself in my healing journey, which I have dedicated the last 2 decades of my life to this healing journey and to understanding who I am and expanding my understanding of myself. And with my inner child, there were parts that I had completely pushed out of my memory, or I thought that I had pushed out of my memory, that have just recently come back to me. An example of that is when I did my medicine ceremony, one of the medicine ceremonies that I did, I spent the whole time during the day in this beautiful medicine ceremony with my inner child. She showed up and she just talked and talked and talked and reminded me of all the times where I used to sit in my bedroom, open the windows. There were like 2 big windows that completely opened up, and they opened to the garden. And I lived in this busy, big, crowded city called Tehran in Iran. And there was often either traffic and big noises and sounds and all sorts of things. But I used to sit there and open the windows that opened to this beautiful little garden. And I used to channel. I used to see entities and I used to talk to them. And I used to channel. I used to talk all day long. And I used to connect to God. And I used to connect to angels, all sorts of things. And I remember that one time I had a friend over and I told her about this. And she went to her mom and said that I'm a liar. Paris is a liar. And so after that, I shut down that part of myself. I stopped channeling because I thought, in order to belong, I cannot do that. Maybe I am a liar. You start doubting yourself. And so this memory has just recently come back to me, like a year ago. And as soon as I saw that, and as soon as I met my inner child in that ceremony, all of those powers came back, because that's who I have always been. That is the power and the gift that I have always had. I could always hear God until I decided to block the voice and block the channel. And now I decided to open it back up, and miracles are happening. And so what I want to tell you is that when you just decide to open up this pathway to your inner child, whatever that creativity may be, maybe you start writing in your journal, maybe you start dancing, maybe you start painting, whatever it may be, is going to be the foundation of all the miracles that are waiting to happen in your life. And don't let anybody tell you that you're a liar, that you are, oh, who are you to think that there's going to be miracles in your life? Or who are you to change your life? Or who are you to move to the beach? I just, some of you know that I just moved. Most of the year I live in Costa Rica. And who am I to live in Costa Rica? Who am I to live my dream? I am everything. And so are you. So are you. Who are these people that are going to stop you from being who you truly are? For being the magic that you are? Let me tell you, because God is very particular and very specific in the way He likes to create its creations. And He or she or the universal force, whatever you believe in, has specifically and artfully created you to be you. Nobody else is here to be you but you. How can you live the life that creates you? How can you take that mask off and be you? Take one simple step today. Take a breath and say, do I really want to live from the voice of my ahankara? My, personalized self? Do I want to live from the voice of my mind? Do I want my mind to be in charge and tell me, go for the next desire? Now we're going to look at reels, and then we're going to go to Starbucks, and then we need this other coffee, and then we need this other clothes, whatever it may be. You choose who to listen to. Because I know for sure that when you listen to the voice of your spirit, I know you know this. Put your hand on your heart. Take a deep breath. Yeah, feel the vibration and pulsation in the center of your heart. It's always there. It knows your truth. It's never going to lie to you. Are you listening to that voice? You can definitely listen to that voice. Start today. Start now. Commit to act, show up, dress up, whatever you need to do from the place of your spirit, because it's who you truly are, and it's very beautiful. I cannot wait to see what you create, who you become when you start listening to this voice. I love you so much. I'm so grateful that you're here. If you know one other person that can benefit from listening to this podcast, please forward it to them. And please know that I am forever grateful for every subscription and like and message that you guys sent me. And if you're ready to do the deep work, I invite you to join my one-on-one deep work portal for this fall. That is very much all about you. That you have my support and guidance for 12 weeks or 16 weeks or whatever you decide to do to walk this walk. You're not alone. And to elevate to the next level of who you are. With that, my dears, I am sending you so much love. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your summer. Message me, and I will see you next time.
Come sit here at my table. The night is cold, my door's wide open. Oh, there's room for many more. Tell me all your tales, oh, your wisdom carried from many lands. Whoever you are, you're welcome. Joy and sorrow, I take you by the hand. Listen deep to the silence within me. I listen deep to the silence within me. I listen deep to the silence within me. Whisper on the wind, the night holds secrets. Into you I creep.